Now that it's recording, I can start talking again because I already did this almost for a whole paragraph without realizing I was not recording. So, I am here to read the Bible in 30 days. Yes, I was going to do it in 14, but I figured that might just be a little bit too much. And so this is the introduction to that. There's no better way to read the Bible than Jeff Cavins' Great Adventure Bible. And I'm going to explain why and how I know this from the beginning. So you're going to hear a little bit of my own personal life. And this will basically be my own personal reflection as I go along to read it. So at this point, I have to say, having had the Great Adventure Bible timeline and having listened to all Jeff Cavins' books of the Bible and Journey Through the Bible, all of them, I mean, the Journey Through the Bible is 20 CDs, and each one of his books of the Bible is at least 6, I believe. So I have listened to all those. So I have kind of a sense. I did all that, but didn't actually read the Bible. So I want to actually follow the program as he suggested. And that was all 10 years ago. So finally, after 10 years, I'm getting around to reading the book. Most people read the book and then go see the movie. But for me, yeah. So it's been a lifetime goal to read the Bible, as I believe most people, most Christians, well, even some non-Christians, they want to know where all that wisdom is. They try to copy it, but nah, it's watered down, folks. Go straight to the source, the Bible. In any case, it's a very huge and difficult thing to navigate, which is why this world is lucky, because there is teachers like Jeff Cavins, who I believe is the best. And his program, I'm going to show you through this, is the best way to read the Bible because he does it differently, and we'll go through that. So anyway, Jeanette, my rosary prayer spiritual warrior partner, suggested that I do a video on it as I go along through each book, and maybe it will inspire and help others to do it. And I thought, she's right. I should do that. Even though I'm embarrassed and I don't like being on camera, I'm trying to get used to it, thanks to Miss Janine. Or Jeanette. Oh my gosh. See, that's why I don't want to do it, because sometimes I make mistakes and I don't like to. Jeanette, we were supposed to get together for Mexican brunch. Instead, I got these earrings because of the corona. So Jeanette and Pauline, our rosary teacher, Miss Natalie. And so I decided during this Lent time, right at the end here, I'm starting this reading program. And yes, it's reading the entire Bible within the 30 days. And that sounds like a lot, but when you see the Jeff Cavins' Great Adventure, you'll understand why this works. Okay, so I bought the Great Adventure Bible just before my mother died in 2018. It had come out just before that, and my mother's actually the one who told me about it coming out. But soon after, she died, and I sort of put it aside. My mom knew that I loved Jeff Cavins' programs, and my son and I even met him in person, my older son, and I went to one of his presentations on the Book of Revelations in Royal Palm, Florida, about 10 years ago, I guess. And at that point, I had all of his CDs, all of them, and they are a lot because there is the Journey Through the Bible, which I believe is about 20. And then that goes through the whole Bible. And then he takes individual Bibles, like, individual books of the Bible, like, the gospel, like Matthew, uh, Revelations, Acts, and the earlier books from the Old Testament as well, and different ones, James and all those. But in any case, I had listened to all those, so I kind of have an idea of how his program works. That's why Jeanette thought it would be a good idea to do this, and I thought, well, I'll do it because, after all, we're supposed to be helping others to get there, and I learn a lot from other people watching them. So, in any case, for me, I got to meet him, and it was like meeting a celebrity, which is, I know, kind of weird. But I'm weird, what can I tell you? But the Revelations program of his, I had already listened to, but I have to tell you, hearing it in person, whoo, oh, it was so good. It just brought it to life in a way that just the CDs, it just doesn't, it just didn't, it was, I'm going to tell you something. Those CDs are amazing, but seeing it in person just brought it more to life and just gave it a richness. So I don't know if he still does those programs. You can look on his website, but he goes all around the country when he did. And again, I don't know if he still does, but if you can, you might want to try to go to one of those presentations, at least one, if you get the chance. So I know he goes to the Holy Land with Father Mike Schmitz, at least before the coronavirus. So hopefully he'll do that again someday. I would love to go along. So we'll see. But in any case, he brings it to life, and he is an amazing teacher. He's so articulate. He has pulled out the pieces and thread them together in a way to help you understand and the entire thing. And so anyway, originally I began with this Journey Through the Bible program. I don't know how I came across his program, but I remember it was in some kind of Catholic magazine. I think something, where you buy things. I don't know. Maybe it was Ascension that I'm not sure, but in any case, I found it. And as I said, it was a lifelong goal. And I thought, you know what? I don't have time. I can listen to the Bible as I go along. So I bought it. It was a little expensive. It was like $300 at the time. I don't know how much it is today, but it was at the time. I was going through a particularly difficult time in my life and looking for comfort and understanding, which is why we often turn to the Bible, as most humans do when we're looking for wisdom. We know where to find it, and that's with God. So we all want to read his book, the oldest book in the world. So anyway, not Jeff Cavins, God. So anyway, once I got through, I think, the 20 CDs of the Journey Through the Bible, I was obsessed, and I bought each book. Then each one is more expanded. I just devoured them. I loved every minute. I never picked up the Bible and read it the way that he suggested. I would always use the excuse I didn't have time, but it was mostly I was exhausted at the end of the day, and I didn't have energy to put into it between everything else. We were on the run a lot. I would listen between working all day, doing nursing visits, giving insulin, dressing wounds, and all the logistical administrative things that they entail. And then I would go and pick up my daughter from school, take her to dance. She did dance 6 days a week. And in between, I had to get her dinner so she could eat in between her classes. And I sat outside the studio in my car doing my nursing notes from all day. Then she would get done like 9 o'clock at night. By then I was exhausted, getting home about 9:30 at night. But during all that, I listened to his programs, and it helped me get through my days and helped me, it helped to heal me in a sense. But now that he came out with the Great Adventure Bible, the actual Bible, that has everything from his program incorporated, And I have the time, I'm finally ready to fulfill my lifetime goal of reading the Bible as a whole, not piecemeal as I have throughout the years. And I'm going to follow Jeff's plan, and that is to read the 14 narrative books of the Bible to begin. And that's how I'm doing it in 30 days. I'm reading those 14 narrative books that kind of weave it all together, and that's how he's done such a brilliant plan. I have to say, having had it and listening to all of the books, I obviously kind of have the overview. It's sort of like approaching the Bible in a holistic way to understand it as a whole, because anything you're learning generally begins with an overall understanding or a map of where you're going, and that's just what Jeff Cavins put together here. And all this time, I just listened to all those CDs as I was driving all day. And I would go in and out of patients' houses, and, it was a little bit choppy, but it would give me a little time to reflect over it too. So it was a little interrupted, but I'm glad I had that overview so that I can share it. And I suggest, if you can buy the program, it really is a good thing. If you can't and you just buy books here and there, you could do that. But at least buy the Bible and listen to that. The Great Adventure Bible. It is about $60, but I have to say it's well worth it. If you can't afford that, then at least buy the Bible Timeline. I think it's $4.99 and $5 shipping, something like that. So it's like $10. So I would, because in a sense, it's like watching the movie in your mind. If you can't do it, fine. You're going to get a lot of stuff, obviously, from the Great Adventure Bible if you can't listen to the whole journey through the Bible. Most people read the Bible and then go see the movie, but, as a person, a creative mind or ADD, whatever it is, some people call it a curse, some people call it a blessing. I'll leave that up to you. In any case, I always do things a little backwards, but I hope that this is helpful. I am finally doing the steps and not going to jump all around to the structure that he's provided. So I'm going to read the 14 narratives as he recommends to get the full perspective. And then, as he suggests, once you have the overall perspective, I'm going to try to do it in 30 days, then you could follow the Bible Timeline that tells you the supplemental books, okay? So, of course, that's not going to be within 30 days. But, so this title might be a little misleading, but I'm just trying to get you to understand how this program works. So now, with the Great Adventure Bible, step one is to read, for me, is to read the foreword, the introduction, look over the timeline. Then he talks about how to interpret the Bible and Lectio Divina, and then that same, within this same first step, all of that. And then I'm going to read the first 14 narrative books, which is Genesis. And I have to say, I wrote this out before I actually did it. I wanted to make sure I could do it. I have already done it, but this isn't the video I'm going to talk about. That will be the next video. But if you look at the book, the Great Adventure Bible, you will see each chapter, or if you have it, you'll see each chapter begins with a summary of that particular narrative book. And of course, it does have the piece of the Bible timeline of that, like the early world is Genesis, and so we'll have that piece up there, so it kind of breaks up the timeline. But you want to get the whole one. I would buy the whole one just to kind of be able to visualize it. But it begins with the summary of that particular narrative book, which is sort of like a trailer to a movie. It's just like one good paragraph. And then it goes into the narrative explaining overall what the book is actually about. and it helps you to set up sort of the foundation of what's going to happen in the future. So one book builds on the other, these 14 books. And being a visual person, which is the majority of people, and probably why this Bible study program is so successful, each book starts with that picture. The early world, and it has 12 periods. And it tells you the year, and in this case, creation to 22 BC, and that's what the early world covers. And then the narrative book is Genesis 1 through 11. So that's my plan to read today, and tomorrow. I'm saying today and tomorrow, but I have already done it after the intro and the supplemental books. In the meantime, underneath the supplemental books, there's a band that says God's Family, and it gives sort of a symbol that relates to that. And in this case, the first part is one holy couple, Adam and Eve. And then it builds to the whole family, and then those are, and that's how it kind of builds. So, I shall begin the 14 narratives, and in between I'm going to tell you whatever it is I think that will be helpful to encourage others. I hope everyone gets the book. Jeanette did, and that's kind of what got me excited about it too. There's something about doing it together in a sense, so everyone come, let's do it together. So I read the Genesis, and I will give you my reflection. I guess Monday, because tomorrow's Sunday, and I will I will give to you my reflection of Genesis on Monday. So thanks for listening to all this babbling, and but it's such a good program. You won't regret it.